by the power of Grayskull.
As the name implies, greater powers are typically quite powerful, but they can only be used once a day. Of course, you can always just wait 24 hours after using them, but the point is you can't use them more than once per combat session. They aren't meant to be your main method of attack. At Causal Loop Incorporated, we take what the developers intended and toss it in the trash. That's why today I'm asking the question, can you beat Oblivion with only powers? There are two kinds of powers in Oblivion, greater powers and lesser powers. Greater powers can only be used once a day, but don't cost any magicka. Lesser powers can be used as often as you'd like, but often come with a magicka cost like normal spells. I'm only allowed to use powers to damage enemies, so weapons and fists are off the table. Just to make things harder, no blocking with a shield either. In addition, I can't use any other kind of spells, spell tome, staff, or scroll to do things like heal myself or summon a creature. Lastly, I must play on Adept difficulty at all times. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get started. For my race, I go with Nord as I start with the greater power Nordic Frost that does 50 points of frost damage on touch. Early game, that'll be enough to one-shot most enemies, and late game, it'll still do a respectable job. I then try to make my character look like He-Man as much as possible because, you know. When I wake up in the morning, I'm trapped in a jail cell with a dark elf who makes me want to cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed. You know, just to get it all out, what's in my head. But then, when the Emperor arrives and says he likes to dream about me, I just have to ask, what's going on? After some assassins get cut to ribbons, I take any useful potions off their bodies before facing the first enemy of the run, a rat. Nordic Frost powers activate! Haha, take that, you stupid. Oh crap, there are more of them. Oh crap, run. Since you can't wait while enemies are nearby and the tutorial dungeon is full of enemies, I have no way to fight back. However, seeing how little damage the rats do to me gives me an idea. I let them gang up on me and bite me over and over, leveling up my light armor and heavy armor skills at a rapid rate. When I get too low on health, I just leave, wait for it to come back, and repeat. Sure, it trashes the durability of my armor, but we can always find better stuff later on. Eventually, I get bored with grinding and continue through the tutorial, picking up everything I can while ignoring the goblins trying to pluck my eyes out. I find a safe place to wait for 24 hours to get my power back, but...
Well, we're waiting.
Yeah, that's gonna get tedious. Fast. Luckily, there's a way we can boost our attacks per day from 1 to 2.
I know these stars well, and I wonder which sign marked your birth.
You look like a snake!
Yes!
What? What the fuck?
The Serpent allows us to damage an enemy's health by 3 points for 20 seconds, which is 60 damage in total. That makes it better than Nordic Frost, albeit over a longer period of time. Soon after, the Emperor is assassinated, but I notice the assassin has caught on fire, so I try to cool him off.
Stranger.
I don't think he appreciated it. For my class, I favor intelligence and willpower, as lesser powers consume magicka. I then pick acrobatics, alchemy, athletics, light armor, mercantile, security, and sneak as my major skills, creating the powerhouse class. Mercantile and alchemy are for more health and magic potions, acrobatics and athletics because why not, and security for more loot I can sell for potions. I barely ended up using light armor or sneak though. As I step outside, I take a breath and I get real high, and I scream at the top of my lungs, how the fuck am I gonna do this challenge? Because if you didn't notice, I can only attack twice per day, and Oblivion throws a lot more than 2 enemies at you before you get the chance to rest, and that's assuming you don't miss or the enemy survives the power. I'm gonna need a more reliable option for damage, and for that I go to Battlehorn Castle
near the city of Coral. Near the city of Coral.
Case in point, while I take out the first Marauder with a Frost spell, although she seemed pretty frozen already, and take out the second with the Serpent spell despite his attempts to heal, I still have to rely on the castle's men-at-arms to take out the last few. At the very least, I get a full set of steel armor to start out with. I go to the Imperial City to pawn off some things I don't need, but when I come back, I see a conjurer deer hunting. I think I need a nap after all that. I'm able to level up twice due to all the grinding I did earlier, letting me boost my intelligence, willpower, endurance, and agility a fair amount. You might wonder why I'm leveling up if the enemies will get stronger while my powers will never improve. Trust me, you'll see why later. For now, let's get to the real reason I came here. By turning a suspicious candlestick in an even more suspicious pillar, we get access to a lich and his skeletal buddy. The skeleton is the real prize here. I poison and chill him down to the bone, but there's a problem. He survives. I thought I could go outside, wait, and come back to finish the job, but doing so restores his health. Luckily, I have a solution, and it's something I needed to get anyway, so might as well get it over with. I haul ass southeast of Leowin until I come to the Serpent Stone, which gives me the Cobra's dance power, letting me hawk a paralyzing and poisoning spell at my enemies. This is separate from the Serpent spell, so now I have 3 attacks every 24 hours. Wow, huge improvement. With my powers combined, I am Captain Planet. I mean, I'm able to take down Lord Cain and pluck the Dragon Sword of Laneland off his corpse. Well, he was a corpse to begin with, but you know what I mean. The sword does fire damage and absorbs fatigue, but the real kicker is that it grants a lesser power when equipped, Dragon's Breath. It does 10 points of fire damage in a radius of 10 feet, and since it's a lesser power, it can be used multiple times per day. The only downside is that it costs 32 magicka, but I'm just glad I can reliably defend myself now. Alright, now let's take out this lich bitch. Oh shit. I end up having to lure the lich outside and whittle him down with Dragon's Breath while awkwardly waiting for my magic to regen. Since we're out in the open, dodging his spells is trivial now. Even better, my men-at-arms help out. Somewhat. With enough patience, the lich goes down, making a stock eagle sound effect in the process. This lets me take his Staff of Storms, which should sell for a pretty penny. Okay, now that everything is set up, time to start the main quest. I give the Amulet of Kings to Jaffa Cakes, who tells me to seek out Martin and Kvatch, the Emperor's bastard heir, so we can seal the barriers between Mundus and Oblivion. Before that, I head to the Imperial City to sell some things, and spend my money on health and magic potions. I'm gonna do this a lot throughout this playthrough, so I won't mention it every time. Just keep that in mind if you wonder how I have so many potions. In Kvatch, Bolden spares me from having to look at Hertel's ugly mug.
Deidre overran Kvatch last night. There were gates to Oblivion itself outside the walls.
And I race up to the town only to see that the sky is having a period. A guard then admits that he's battled the very earth itself.
Stand back, civilian.
And I jump balls first into hell to give some scamps the sniffles and kill them via congestive heart failure. Dragon's Breath does decent damage this early on, but it eats up so much magicka that I have to kite the enemies for days just to get another shot at them. Luckily, there are some magicka fonts I can use to speed up the process. When all's said and done, I find an eagle feather shield worth, wait, 3,000 gold? And a sigil stone that fortifies my willpower, letting me recover magicka faster. I put it on my shield and name it the Shield of Power because I'm an uncreative son of a bitch. The Battle of Kvatch is simple as I just let the soldiers do most of the work, and with that we've recruited Martin Septim to our side. Now to just get the amulet and light the...
The Amulet of Kings is gone. The enemy has defeated us at every turn.
Ah, of course. Nothing is that simple. If only Jaffa Cakes had kept the amulet on his person, this challenge would have been a lot shorter. After a quick stop at Cloudroller Temple to rethink our plans...
Hail Sankrator! Hail Hail!
Your Highness, the blades are at your command.
I have to figure out how I'm gonna sell this ridiculously valuable shield. Luckily for me, the Battlehorn Castle expansion adds a vendor in the Merchant's Inn with 2,000 gold. Meeting up with Boris, I bitch slap Astov with my magic as I already know he's a cultist, and let him take care of the rest. This gets me 1 volume of the Mythic Dawn's handbook, with a very polite lizard giving me the second. For the third, I just have to let Gwyneth know he's gonna be implicated in a treasonous conspiracy, and he gives it up without a fight. For the fourth, I have to accompany Boris through a pathetic gauntlet of mudcrabs and rats, during which I contribute very little and the laws of physics go out for lunch. Once we meet up with the Mythic Dawn, I ambush Raven all
Sneaky beaky like. I told you to...
and do my best to help Boris with the rest. He actually survives this time, and what's better, I get the last volume of the Mythic Dawn's New York Times bestseller, letting me decipher the location of their hidden base. Infiltrating the Mythic Dawn forces me to give up my equipment, but there's one thing they can't take from me: my powers.
You dare attack me?
To be set up.
Paradise awaits me. Sacred Xerxes! Kill him!
With the Mysterium Xerxes in hand, I give it to
By the nine, such a thing is dangerous even to handle.
Oh, Jesus, man, calm down. It's not the goddamn Necronomicon. I give it to Martin so he can use it to find a way into Mankar Cameron's realm, so we can get the Amulet of Kings back. In the meantime, Jaffa Cakes wants me to deal with some spies.
You cannot escape the Master's. I do not fear death.
Welp, that was pathetically easy. Okay, I'll be real with you, Chief. At this point in the run, I downloaded a mod to make waiting significantly faster. It doesn't make the run any easier, just a lot less tedious. I level up to put some more points into intelligence, willpower, and endurance, as I'm gonna need more magic and magic regen for Dragon's Breath to stay viable. Now it's time to get a Daedric artifact, and since vampires are weak to fire, I decide Azura's quest is the way to go.
Bring the peace of death to my followers, and you shall earn my gratitude. Their spirits are free, and henceforth above my shrine, 5 bright candles shall burn forever in memory of their sacrifice.
With her star given to Martin, I'm tasked with teaching Captain Bird as the Word how to close Oblivion gates. Since you're accompanied by a regiment of guards, the first scamps on the way to the tower are pretty simple, and the open area even lets me snipe a few of them. The Dremora would be more difficult, but they seem a tad confused. Inside, things get more dicey as we encounter harder enemies in more enclosed spaces. Considering my spell works across a wide area,
Someone's been murdered! Take that!
it leads to more than a few mishaps. Bird is essential though, so we can still reach the top eventually. I re-roll the Sigil Stone until I get one that boosts my magicka, adding it to a Dremora shield I found and making a new Shield of Power. As I travel to Coral to go to Sankrator, however,
Break the law on my watch, will you?
it turns out Captain Bird snitched behind my back. No matter, most of the skills drained by my prison sentence are of no use to me anyway. In preparation for Sankrator, I sell some things for repair hammers to fix up my gear, buy some more potions, talk with Boris for some skill boosts, report my success at Bruma to Joffrey, and level up, putting more points into intelligence, willpower, and endurance. Now that I'm level 5, Sigil Stones will boost my magicka by 20 points rather than 10, letting me cast Dragon's Breath more often. Remember when I said leveling would be important earlier? This is why. The ability to cast it more often will hopefully outweigh the health increase my enemies get from being a higher level. To kill 2 cliff racers with 1 stone, I head to the gate near Showdown, as this one also has an NPC that escorts you through the whole thing.
I'm on your side! Twice you hit me! That's the best you can do! I'm on your side!
Again, I re-roll the Sigil Stone until I get the one I want, enchant a ring with it, and name it the Ring of Power.
My precious power ring! Gone forever!
Now I can cast Dragon's Breath 4 times in a row. Oh, and Showdown can pledge a soldier to protect Bruma. In Sankrator, the ghosts are immune to being frozen, but they aren't immune to being poisoned or paralyzed. I honestly never knew you could paralyze a ghost until now. It takes my entire bar of magicka just to kill one ghost with Dragon's Breath, which is extremely inefficient. However, I then remember it works in an area. The winning play is to let all the ghosts follow me and clump up so I can take them out all at once. As for the undead blades, I save Nordic Touch and my poison spells for them so I don't have to wait for my magicka to regen as much. Mine! Oops. I hope Jaffa Cakes doesn't notice the scratches. Next on Martin's shopping list is a Great Welkin Stone, which can be found at Miskarkind. Most of the goblins, skeletons, and zombies die from 2 or 3 blasts of fire, while some of the tougher ones can take far more. Luckily, this place is full of crystal meth I can snort to kick my brain into overdrive, fully restoring my magicka. As for the king, I drag the Great Stone over to him before picking it up so I can get the drop on him. Nordic Frost doesn't do shit, but Serpent Spell and Cobra's Dance leave him vulnerable to a volley of fireballs, which takes out his backup in the process. It's then just a case of chugging magicka potions while constantly assailing him, and while he almost shocks me to death, I eke out a victory. The last ingredient for a one-way ticket to paradise is a Great Sigil Stone, but to get it, we'll have to let a great gate open outside Bruma, and close it before it reduces the town to a smoking pile of rubble. Since we recruited Shadenhall aid to Bruma, however, we can get the most powerful ally in existence, Ulrich Leland.
So, you're the famous hero of Kvatch.
Because he's needed for a quest, he can't die, so he can just throw himself at the Daedra over and over until he eventually wins. In my previous Oblivion runs, due to the huge number of NPCs fighting each other, this battle ran so choppily as to be almost unplayable. In an attempt to alleviate this, I turned the graphics settings down until Oblivion resembles a PS2 game. Unfortunately, I still can't contribute much as there's far too many enemies at once for how much magic I have, and trying to attack with an AoE spell leads to my own allies turning against me. They even follow me into hell to whoop my ass. Now that's dedication. Picking acrobatics as a major skill pays off here, as I'm able to scale my way to the tower and jump around the gate you normally have to waste time unlocking. The Sigil Keeper is quite tanky, but with enough kiting him in a circle and chugging magicka potions, I kill him and take his key for later. As this mission is timed and waiting for my magic to come back would take far too long, I mostly just run past everything to get to the Sigil Stone, although I do get one last lick in for posterity. Apparently, Fog of War isn't a valid excuse in Cyrodiil, as I get arrested for accidentally fireballing some of my allies. Side note, but I kind of dig how the game looks with low graphics settings. It's kinda nostalgic in a comfy way. Huh. Everything looks a lot more clear here. I run right up to Catheter and freeze his ass solid, although I do have the courtesy of thawing him out afterwards. A sexy flame lady and a dinosaur follow me though, and almost whoop my ass as one has a lot of health and the other is immune to fire. With the Bands of the Chosen, I ignore everything on my way to Eldamil, play along with his little scheme, find out that the laws of thermodynamics need not apply in Paradise, and again ignore everything as I haul ass through the Forbidden Grotto. Half the enemies I can't even damage, and it's not like they'd have good loot anyway. Besides, I need to save my potions for Mankar Cameron. A flame Atronach barges into his palace uninvited, however, and sort of ruins the dramatic showdown he had planned for me.
Do your best.
I have waited a long time for you, champion of old Tamriel. You were the last gasp of a dying age. You breathed the stale air of false hope.
Test your strength.
How
against
little you
me,
understand.
mortal.
You cannot stop Lord Dagon. The
Do
walls
your
between our
worst.
worlds are crumbling.
Once she's extinguished, Cameron has the courtesy to let me wait for a day straight to get my powers back, and I repay that courtesy by freezing his fucking eyebrows off. With poison damage ticking his health down, I begin to spam Dragon's Breath like my life depends on it. Because it does, chugging magicka and healing potions like water, and quite easily overwhelm him despite his ability to reflect and absorb magic.
Like the gods you pray. Chose you well. I will present your soul to my father as a gift. Chose you well.
My vision will yet be realized.
Be glad you... Paradise.
With both the amulet and Martin in hand, it should be as easy as lighting the dragon fires at the Temple of the One, right? Well, no, Martin cares more about politics than saving the world, so he decides to head to the Imperial Palace first, despite the very still active cult trying to murder him. As you'd expect, this leads to Daedra invading the city, and while I humor this fight a little, there's really not much point as you can just run straight to the temple. Martin seems more than a bit confused when I get there.
I must reach the Dragonfires and the Temple of the One. I have to get past Mehrunes Dagon somehow. Come on! We need to get to the Dragonfires before it's too late!
But he soon regains his senses, using the amulet to turn into his divine persona, banishing Mehrunes Dagon back to Oblivion, and ending the Oblivion crisis once and for all, proving that yes, you can beat Oblivion with only powers. Hey everyone, thanks for watching yet another video. I appreciate any support you can give me so I can make similar content for you in the future. If you liked the video, leave a like or subscribe. It only takes a second, but it helps me grow a ton. If you didn't like the video, leave a dislike and give constructive criticism so I can improve. Also, leave your ideas for new videos in the comments. I read all the comments that come my way and put your ideas at the end of each video. Who knows, your idea might even become an official video. If you really want to support me, go to my Patreon or become a channel member, which will get you shouted out, guarantee an opportunity to chat with me, and make your ideas much more likely to become reality. Plus, it's only 17 cents a day. Even just 20 subscribers to my Patreon would mean a lot to me, and help me put out even better content. Check me out on Reddit or Discord using the links in the description if you want to chat, or check out my second channel, The Loophole, for some extra content. This is Causal Loop, signing off. Peace.